I'm going to invite the chime to sing. Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'll be facilitating our practice today, and I'd like to share with you a sentiment of metta, loving kindness. This one reads, "May your kindness extend beyond imagination. May your kindness extend beyond imagination." I'd like to remember to spotlight myself, which I haven't done. So let me do that. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to appear on the video today. And I'd like to encourage you all to arrive fully to this practice. And whatever was going on for you this morning, earlier today, if there's any way that you can imagine putting it down, and if what is going to happen later today, if there's something that you can put those thoughts in a sort of embodied form like a bowl and hold that bowl like this is what's waiting for me in the future later today. But then see if you can imagine yourself putting it down. Maybe even pick up a bowl and say, this is happening for me later today. These are all the things that I need to do. But in this moment, I'm going to put it down. And one of the reasons why I'm encouraging such an enactment is because it embodies truly and helps make tangible what it means to engage effort, wise effort, conscious effort. There's a lot of efforting, I think, that we do that is mindless, unconscious, wasteful. We're wandering around, we're doing this and that, but we're not really present to anything that we're doing. So, one of my most unconscious, mindless efforts is a kind of habit energy. And I notice it when I'm bored or when I'm a little bit stressed. And that is, for whatever reason, I go to the refrigerator. I open up the refrigerator. I look around the refrigerator. And my boredom isn't going to be resolved there. My anxiety isn't going to be resolved there. My weariness isn't going to be resolved there. But nevertheless, I seem to go through that fiery hoop, and then I might wake up. I'll be like, what am I doing here? Why am I looking in here? I close the refrigerator and I go find something else to do. And all of it is on the spectrum of effort, whether it's unskillful, unconscious effort or skillful and mindful, aware effort. And I think the practice, for me anyway, is to put down the judgment. Oh, there I go doing something unskillful and unconscious. As if the only goal is to only ever be aware and mindful all the time. And I think that is often sold in spiritual circles or even in dogmatic points of view, as if it's possible, as if awareness and as if skillfulness can be achieved in the absence of unconsciousness and unskillfulness. We need this duality. I can't learn about the places that I fall asleep to my life if I don't fall asleep on occasion. I can't learn to hone my skills of awareness and mindfulness if I don't, on occasion, fall asleep to my life. What doesn't help in this effort is the judgment, the harshness, the diminishment, the way I, I sort of deflate myself, kill myself, if you will, with a million little paper cuts, a little slash here and there as a way to deflate, destroy my energy. Today, the invitation and the question is, what is your effort? And I want you to recognize, and I encourage you to recognize, that coming here is effort. And it's a beautiful effort, and it's worth taking stock of. The effort of acquiring a computer or a phone. There's a lot involved in just that. And it's not just about you. Remember all of the nameless, faceless people whose effort went into your computer or your phone or your electrical socket or your couch or your TV or whatever it is that's enabling you to have access to this meeting, to this moment. So many people efforting on your behalf. You are connected to them. And just like you, just like me, they want to be happy, peaceful, safe, and at ease. For the wonderful friends who've gathered in the sanctuary of Soul Center today, took effort to get here. It takes effort to maintain this space. I just had a handyman here who helped me change out some light bulbs, those big, long, iridescent type light bulbs that are kind of scary to me. And I have a very particular kind of light that I prefer. And most of these LED type lights are really bright. And I was just like, no, these are all wrong. We're not doing surgery here. Here, we needed a specific kind of grow light. And he smiled at me, and I'm like, we're growing souls here in this sanctuary and in this building. So I need a softer light, a glowing light, a growing light. And he just looked at me and he's like, I'm on it, Julia. And you need lights with different levels of glow. And I'm like, yes, that sounds beautiful. And so he helped me this morning determine which level of glow I wanted in my lights. Effort. Look at all that effort. It takes effort, as you all well know, to be with craving. And craving has many, many faces. It has many flavors. The craving to be right, the craving to prove someone wrong, the craving to fight, the craving to collapse, the craving to avoid, the craving to defend. That's a big one. The craving to accuse. So many cravings come alive in us on any given day, in any given moment. And we talk about this in this Buddhist inspired practice as a way of broadening our understanding of our own habit energy. Yes, it may appear in the misuse of substances, but there's so much that goes underneath it. There's so much that is a sort of silent current that could be feeding this particular manifestation. And so if we're in a defensive mood and it feels really uncomfortable and the body's tight and it's resurrecting old memories and regrets, of course we're going to have a craving of a familiar soothing habit, like taking a shot or smoking a joint or overindulging in sugar or whatever it is, turning on your computer and looking at pornography, anything to find comfort and soothing. But as many cravings as there are out there, there are as many ways to soothe ourselves. We just have to make the effort to find avenues of comfort and soothing that better align with our own hearts, minds, and spirits. And that's the real trick, isn't it? That's the effort to recognize, oh, I'm tempted. I'm wanting to go towards something that's familiar, something I know is going to be a relief, and I know it isn't good for me, and I know it's not where I really want to go. But I feel stuck. I'm leaning in that direction. I'm being pulled almost outside of my control. So I have to stick, I have to anchor. And in that anchored moment, so I don't go in that direction, I don't know where else to go. And that can be a frightening place to be. There are all these options, and maybe we don't see them, or maybe we don't know which one to choose. So here's what I'd like to encourage. I'd like to encourage you to come into your body and sit nice and tall for a moment with me. And I'd like to encourage you to just allow your body to lean toward the right, ever so slightly. And this is just feel what it feels like to put your body in that direction. You kind of feel a little gravity pulling you down farther, arcing more. That's okay. Just bring yourself back because I don't want you to overextend the lean. And I certainly, if you're standing, don't want you to fall over. But just know how there's this natural tug to pull you deeper into that lean. It takes some effort to stay in one posture. That's what it feels like. That's the energy behind the craving and the temptation and the familiarity of going toward habit energy. That's the energy. So engaging just the slightest little effort to bring your body upright. That's it. That's all we're doing. Craving comes, lean to the right. Feel it. Oh, there you are, craving. I know you. You're familiar, you're comforting, you're soothing, and you're not good for me. So I'm going to straighten my body upright and breathe. See how unstuck you are? Isn't that amazing? Let's do it again. Lean toward anything familiar. It doesn't even have to be substances. Maybe it's a thought, a memory, a regret, a tone in your voice. Oh my God, there I go again. Leaning. I see you. Straightening up. Deep breath. Amazing. That's it. That's all the effort you ever need to make. That's a meditation, friends. That is a meditation because it's present time awareness. And that's mindfulness, sati. For funsies, let's arc the body to the left as something else to do. So craving to the right, I see you, you're familiar. I'm all right. I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to fall over. I'm going to effort and put my body upright and take a deep breath and pause and anchor. And while I'm not going to lean toward the craving, toward that familiarity, I'm going to lean toward something else, something new. I'm going to lean to the left. See what that does for me. And in my body right now, it feels weird. I don't know why. It's just unfamiliar. Look at that. Would you look at that? Now I'm going to straighten that up. That's the effort. That's the miracle of mindfulness. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. And in fact, sometimes the simplicity of just that, using the body as a guide for what we might be going through in a bit of emotional tumult, is an enormously comforting way to harmonize the body and mind, the heart and mind with the body. When the mind is teased by craving, by attachment, by anything that's inflated or distorted, what often accompanies that mind is an equally distorted idea of how to fix it, what I need to do to make it better. I need to put forth this extraordinary effort. It almost needs to be a spectacle. And that isn't always true. Often the smallest effort with enormous regard and presence will do the trick. Even if the mind is leaning toward a familiar craving, a familiar attachment, to put the left hand on the heart and to press gently in the body is also a subtle, small, simple reminder. Julia, we're not heading in that direction right now. We're going to do something else. I don't know what that is, but right now in this moment, what it is the effort to put my hand on my heart. That's it. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to recognize that, like the Buddha himself, I am not going to answer that Mara, that temptation. I'm going to take stock of that. I'm going to congratulate myself. I'm going to allow myself to be proud and empowered. I'm going to sit a little bit taller. And maybe in sitting a little bit taller, I'm now going to stand and I'm going to walk away. Look at all these things I'm doing, all these efforts that, when added together, are incredible. What is your effort? Can you bring wisdom to it? And of course, the answer is yes. And when you don't, can you have enough humility and openness to learn from that, to let that unskillful moment, that unskillful effort, to be, instead of a judge, a a teacher. That's the practice, friends. And this is a kindness that when you really look at it, it exists beyond imagination. Let's enjoy a few moments of silence to allow this to settle so sweetly in the mind and heart. Friends, to endeavor to understand one's mind, one's heart, to create wise intentions from that understanding and to enact them, whether it's in our speech or in our efforts or throughout our livelihood, to sprinkle all of it in mindfulness and to wrap it around a concentrated practice. This is the Noble Eightfold Path. It is a noble way of being in the world. It is a noble way of cultivating a completely different kind of presence. Not so we can be better than anyone, but instead to create the conditions to ease suffering in ourselves and by extension one another. What an extraordinary effort. What an extraordinary kindness to bring into an infinite world. Truly amazing. And thank you for practicing with me today. Let's take a deep breath together, breathing in, breathing out. Friends, for our practice today, we explored the merit of effort. And not just any kind of effort, but the effort that comes with a gentle gaze that is able to see the spectrum of our efforting, of our actions, because the spectrum includes those efforts that aren't particularly skillful, as well as those efforts that are. That's the thing about a Buddhist practice is it is constantly reminding us that we are both light and shadow. Always. It's always in an interplay. And the effort is to find some equanimity there, find some neutrality there. So we're not going from one extreme to the other, constantly telling ourselves that we're either the worst person ever, or we're on the other end of that distortion, which is I'm the best person ever. Both are distortions. Both represent, in the Buddhist terms, confusion and ignorance. Both create really discursive ideas of aversion and hostility and aggression. And so the whole point is to abandon the extremes, abandon the distortions, and come somewhere closer to the middle. And that middle is fluid. It's constantly moving. And so what we can do is learn from those inflated, distorted extremes. And that takes effort. And certainly coming into community, practicing, being challenged, being encouraged. Boy, I can think of no better thing to do with my life, with my time, and I have you all to thank for it. Let's just offer out into the world, a little song that was written by one of our beautiful Sangha members, Anne with an E. One day at a time, go slowly, breathe and smile. One day at a time, go slowly, breathe and smile. One day at a time, go slowly, breathe and smile.